I appreciate all the super chat contributions. Thank you so very much for your kindness. In today's show, we'll be discussing the Bitcoin price crawling 2.5% off the lows as the weekly chart risk bearish engulfing. Also breaking news just in, Singapore court rules buying and selling Bitcoin without a license is completely legal. And quoting Max Kaiser, as we've said for years, of course the next round of stimulus will be 2x America's GDP. Back in 2008, an opportunity to right the mess presented itself and the US tripled down on the same failed policies. Hyperinflation is backstage warming up. $220,000 Bitcoin in play. Send it. Also in today's show, Gemini to launch derivatives platform outside of the United States. That's right, the platform's first derivatives contract will be a Bitcoin perpetual contract denominated in Gemini dollars. Also in today's show, incoming FedCoin will track everyone in new 1984 style system, says Rich Dad Robert Kiyosaki. We'll also be discussing crypto now dead in America as U.S. authorities target the nascent industry, says billionaire Shamath P. Also breaking news, the world's first Bitcoin real estate marketplace launches powered by Coinbase. That's right, agents can now list U.S. commercial and residential properties to be sold for crypto or cash on the platform, and anyone worldwide can purchase them within one business day through the ASAP program. Let's get it. Also in today's show, $532,000 Bitcoin price is on the horizon, predicts Quant Analyst PlanB, and shares his timeline. Quoting him here on Crypto Twitter, my January 12th prediction is in line with the stock to flow model. $100,000 is the bottom of my $100,000 to $1 million range, with around $532,000 stock to flow model value after the 2024 halving. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market, all this plus so much more in today's show. And welcome everyone just tuning in. This is podcast episode number 1260. I'm your host, JV, and today is April 23rd, 2023. How has your weekend been thus far? Let me know in the comments right down below. And now let's dive into today's Bitcoin and crypto market watch. As you can see, the King Crypto back in the green. Let's go. Trading above 27,600. We have Ether still in the red. BNB also in the green, but the majority of the alts also correcting and in the red. And checking out coinmarketcap.com, the crypto market cap sitting just above $1.1 trillion with about 30 billion in volume in the past 24 hours, with the Bitcoin dominance at 45.8% and the Ether dominance at 19.3%. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers in the past 24 hours, Casper leading the pack up 5%, trading just above 5 cents, followed by Quant up 2.4%, trading at $112, followed by Monero up 2%, trading at $157. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers for the past week, we can see a handful in the green, with XRD leading the pack up about 20% and BGB up almost 7%. But as you can see, the vast majority of the alts correcting with heavy losses for the week. And checking out the Crypto Greed and Fear Index, one of my favorite indicators, shows we're currently rated a 56 greed. Yesterday was a 53 neutral, last week a 68 greed, and last month a 61 in greed. So there you have it. How many of you are currently bullish on the King Crypto? Make some noise in the live chat, and towards the end of the show, I'll be reading everyone's comments out loud, giving everyone the opportunity to have their opinions heard. Now let's dive into today's Bitcoin technical analysis and check out some of the charts. Bitcoin sought to snatch back the lost ground on April 23rd as 10-day lows remained in place, as you can see here clearly in the Bitcoin 1-hour candle chart. Data from Cointelegraph Markets Pro and TradingView followed Bitcoin as it rose to circle 27.7, up around 2.5% from the low set on the prior day, with Bitcoin remaining on traders' radars as a potential short opportunity into the weekly close. Quoting Crypto Tony, 26.6 is my target in my short term position right now, and also he says it is the most logical target, and we have also bids popped up down there too now, so I am expecting a reaction. Once tested, that target would mark a new bottom for Bitcoin, which lost 10% over the week to turn April's performance thus far negative. Analyst Mark Cullen eyed a potential for Bitcoin to approach the April 21st CME futures closing price of 27.3 before the weekly close. Quoting here, lots of bids sitting at 26.5, but not sure they will get tapped just yet. And also a further Twitter post noted increased spot market selling on the largest exchange Binance, this potentially adding downside pressure in an otherwise less liquid weekend trading environment. Quoting Alpha BTC, looks like the Binance spot selling is still trying to push the price lower. They took a break as markets closed on Friday, but the algos seem to be kicking back in. Now let's discuss the horrendous bearish engulfing looming. Market participants appear to share consensus over the Bitcoin price action, more broadly suggesting that the short-term bearish moves were not yet apt to change the overall bullish trend thus far for 2023. Amongst them was crypto analyst Mikhail Van de Popp, quoting him here, "I don't see the entire bearish perspective. Weekly time frame we are seeking for a higher low, which seems as a possible case around 26.5 to 27,000 or perhaps 25,000. Breaking back above 27.8 is probably a strong upwards reaction to 29 for Bitcoin and continuation of the uptrend." So there you have it. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the crypto analyst. And now fellow trader Crypto Bullet sounded more nervous, even while acknowledging that a weekly candle eclipse in a full month's progress would not necessarily spell the end of the bull run, quoting Crypto Bullet, weekend or Bitcoin on the 1 week. Even if we close the weekly candle as a horrendous bearish engulfing, it's not over yet. Let me remind you of what we had back in 2019 during the same echo bubble rally. Number 1, bear market low. Number 2, first bounce. Number 3, a higher low. And number 4, weeks of sideways consolidation after. So there you have it. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the analyst. And as I mentioned in the intro of the show, breaking news: Singapore court rules buying and selling Bitcoin without a license is completely legal, as it should be. Let's go. And quoting Max Kaiser in response to this story here, this is Nick Tamaros, a former Fed official who warned against overdoing stimulus in 2020 and 2021, sees danger ahead on banking. The current upheaval is the second or third inning, not the seventh inning. I am afraid we have got something coming that we don't fully understand. And Max Kaiser, the high priest of Bitcoin, responded, as we've said for years, of course, the next round of stimulus will be 2x America's GDP. Back in 2008, an opportunity to right the mess presented itself, and the U.S. tripled down on the same failed policies. Hyperinflation is backstage, warming up. $220,000 Bitcoin price in play. Send it and let's freaking go. And now for our next breaking story of the day, as innovation is leaving the United States. In fact, as shared just the other day, Coinbase announced getting a license in Bermuda so they could launch a derivatives platform outside the US. And guess what? Gemini is following suit with also plans to launch a derivatives platform outside the US. You can thank Gary Gensler and the regulators for not doing their job. Check this out. United States-based crypto exchange Gemini announced on April 21st that the upcoming launch of a derivatives platform outside the U.S. The move comes amid a tightening, uncertain regulatory environment for crypto firms in the country. Dubbed the Gemini Foundation, the offshore division will offer services to users based in Singapore, Hong Kong, India, Argentina, Bahamas, Bermuda, the British Virgin Islands, Bhutan, Brazil, Cayman Islands, Chile, Egypt, El Salvador, Israel, Jersey, New Zealand, Nigeria, Panama, Peru, the Philippines. It seems virtually everywhere except for those in the United States. Go figure. How many of you saw this coming? The platform's first derivatives contract will be a Bitcoin perpetual contract denominated in Gemini dollars, followed by an ETH Gemini dollar perpetual contract shortly after. This is their announcement directly from Gemini on crypto Twitter. Now, eligible customers will be able to trade both spot and derivative products, as well as convert US dollars and USD coin into GUSD on a one-to-one basis. Fees, profits, and losses will also be processed in GUSD. The default leverage is 20x, with the maximum possible leverage being 100x. And let's just stop right there. I have to warn all newbies to the industry, do not trade with leverage. Even if you think you know what you're doing, I would highly avoid leverage trades of like 5x, 10x, 20x, especially 100x, because it's straight up insanity and you're most likely to get liquidated. If you don't know, now you know. I just wanted to share that warning. Now check it. Unlike traditional futures contracts, perpetual contracts never expire. It's kind of like a big royal casino, you know what I mean? Perpetual futures trading is not regulated by the CFTC, and exchanges offering crypto futures contracts like BitMEX are not available for U.S. customers. The move comes a few days after Gemini revealed plans to establish a new engineering hub in India. The exchange's founders, Tyler and Cameron, recently announced that Gemini had big plans for international growth this year in APAC. Earlier this month, Gemini filed a pre-registration with the Ontario Securities Commission to become restricted dealer in Canada. Gemini is also scrutinized by U.S. authorities, with the New York State Department of Financial Services reportedly investigating the exchange over claims that many users had believed their assets in their Earn accounts were protected by the FDIC. Now, Gemini's Earn program halted withdrawals back in November after its operating partner Genesis cited unprecedented market turmoil, and in January, the firm filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Reports at the time suggested that up to $900 million in Earn user funds could have been locked. The U.S. SEC also charged the exchange with offering unregistered securities through Earn in January. Now, is this a surprise to anyone with the regulation going on with the SEC that it would encourage these major exchanges to launch services outside the U.S. and where U.S. customers can't play? I mean, it is what it is. They're just trying to avoid all the hassle from the regulators in all, reality. But very interesting. Do you think many other major exchanges are likely to follow suit? Let me know your thoughts in the comments right down below. Now let's discuss something very serious. Incoming FedCoin, as Rich Dad has been warning us about. Rich Dad Poor Dad author Robert Kiyosaki warns that George Orwell's novel 1984 can quickly become a reality when the U.S. goes ahead with launching a central bank digital currency, better known as CBDC. In an episode of the Rich Dad channel, Kiyosaki says that a FedCoin, or Federal Reserve issue CBDC, will allow the authorities to become omnipresent and surveil Americans' every move to make sure they are behaving. Quoting Rich Dad here, the big concern with FedCoin, the CBDC, is that we lose our privacy, that they will track us. They'll track every move because they'll know everything we're spending money on, what we spend it on, and who will give it to all of those, and it becomes George Orwell's 1984. Big Brother will watch you via our money, and that's the problem with the central bank digital currency or the FedCoin. People like me panic. I said, oh my God, they're going to track me. I don't want them to know how I'm spending my money. It's none of their business. But now with blockchain and all of this, they can track anything they want. So our privacy goes. That's why when George Gammon says Orwellian, he's talking about 1984. Big Brother's going to watch you. That's where we are heading. Very bold concerns from Kiyosaki. His comments come as the Fed explores the benefits and risks of a CBDC. During a speech on Tuesday, the Fed Governor, Michelle Bowman, says the potential digital dollar should incorporate privacy considerations into its design. She says there should be proper measures to safeguard the privacy of businesses and individuals. Quoting Bowman here, I'm thinking about the implications of a CBDC and privacy. We must also consider the central role that money plays in our daily lives and the risk that a CBDC would provide not only a window into, but potentially an impediment to the freedom Americans enjoy in choosing how money and resources are used and invested. I think she makes a good point. Obviously, this is a major concern, as it should be for everyone. But guess what? Bitcoin is the antidote to CBDCs and FedCoin. So happy stacking. And to watch this video with Robert Kiyosaki entitled The Fed's Plan to End Money, check the show notes below the video in the description. And now let's break down our next story of the day and discuss crypto USA being dead as innovation continues to flee the United States. Billionaire venture capitalist Chamath P. believes that regulators are effectively kicking crypto out of the U.S. I mean, very obvious now, right? In a new podcast, he says that the regulators, including the SEC chairman, Gary Gensler, are dead set on coming after this nascent industry. According to the billionaire investor, crypto now represents such a threat to the government and the current financial system that regulators are doing everything that they can to drive the digital asset space out of the country. Quoting the billionaire here, crypto is dead in America. You had Gensler even blaming the banking crisis on crypto. So the United States authorities have firmly pointed their guns at crypto. That's right. He continues, I just think they are probably the ones that were the most threatening to the establishment, and they were the ones that, in fairness to the regulators, did push the boundaries more than any other sector of the startup economy. So now they're paying the price for that. The bill has come due for them. Chamath P. also blasts the SEC for giving Coinbase a hard time, even though the crypto exchange is trying to play by the rules. The venture capitalist highlights that the bankrupt crypto exchange FTX was the closest to getting the nod from the top regulatory body. Quoting him here, Coinbase played by the rules, stood in line, tried to do the right things. It seems that every step along the way, everything from board composition to executive composition is how they try to interact with the regulators, yet they are probably the furthest away from getting a license. The one that came the closest was the one that was the most fraudulent, which is FTX. How is that even possible? Let me explain why that's possible. It's called collusion. The regulators, Gary Gensler and them, were colluding with Bankman-Fried, or I should say scam Bankman-Fried. And to watch this video he did entitled SpaceX Launch, Fox News Settlement, and Zombie Concern All In, check the show notes below the video in the description, which leads us to our next breaking story of the day before we get to our $532,000 Bitcoin price prediction post-halving 2024 as per PlanB, creator of the Bitcoin stock to flow model, and then we'll dive into some live Q&A. But now let's discuss this Bitcoin real estate marketplace, which just launched, which is powered by Coinbase. And this is a pretty big deal. My eListing, the world's first Bitcoin real estate marketplace, launched recently where it will allow people to purchase real estate within the US with Bitcoin directly. Let's freaking go. This will likely have tremendous positive impacts on both the real estate and crypto industries as it introduces a large pool of new customers for both. One of the most attractive things about this new platform is that buyers can essentially purchase properties in just one business day. Let that sink in. How many of you have got a loan through a bank and closing took maybe 30, 60, 90 days and it was a nightmare? Well, no more. You can close now within a day with no shenanigans whatsoever. Bring it. This is something that is usually a long process in the traditional method of purchasing real estate, and it's reported that the transaction time is nearly 50 times faster. Like, whoa, changing the game, disrupting industries, right? So far, the platform is only launching for properties in Texas, but there may be plans to expand this marketplace to other states later this year. Hopefully that's true. The platform is initially launching for Texas-only properties April 20th, meaning it already launched, with plans to expand the other select states in June 2023. The list of available properties to purchase with Bitcoin is available on my eListing website. The ASAP program's explainer video provides a step-by-step guide on how the process works. The integration of Coinbase by my eListing is expected to change the way people invest in real estate by providing a secure and efficient way to buy and sell properties, the press release states. And as Richard explained with the ASAP program, anyone, regardless of the language they speak or where they are in the world, can purchase residential and commercial real estate with crypto in as little as one business day. The program's success will be determined in the coming months as it expands to other states and attracts more buyers and sellers. Now, here's a big point. Coinbase is serving as the backbone of this marketplace platform, as it allows for the buyers of crypto to be converted into cash before transferring it to the seller. This gives a lot of credibility to the new platform, as Coinbase is already a well-known name within the crypto space within the US. That's right. In fact, it's the largest crypto exchange in the US, right? This is not the first time that real estate has been purchased with Bitcoin and other digital assets. However, it's the first time where a trusted platform was launched that can drive greater adoption of using digital assets to purchase real estate. After all, convenience is usually key for the majority of users, and my eListing has essentially simplified a long process to just a few short steps. As pointed out here, agents can now list U.S. commercial and residential properties to be sold for crypto or cash on the platform, and anyone worldwide can purchase them within one business day through the ASAP program. This is pretty good stuff. It's Coinbase's participation that distinguishes my eListing from other similar ventures. Coinbase, as we all know, is a household name. Now, my eListing is also expedited the buying and selling process further with its two partners. We got Millennial Title and Championship Title spearheading the title process. Good stuff. Let me know if you would ever buy a house with your Bitcoin, and if so, in what year would you likely do that by? Would you be buying a house? I more recently purchased a house with Bitcoin here in Puerto Rico, and I'm glad I did. It is what it is. Obviously, in a perfect world, I would have rather purchased this house with Bitcoin when it was trading at hundreds of thousands of dollars. But for me, it was a major convenience factor, and I really wanted the house. And I was able to win the house versus the other bidders who would have used a traditional loan and financing, which would have maybe took 60 to 90 days to close here in Puerto Rico. I came with Bitcoin, and they ultimately said, we want you because we know we can close this deal within a few days. And lo and behold, it was a no-brainer. So I think this is awesome. I think it's going to continue to disrupt major industries as Bitcoin already is doing. And ultimately, this is bullish for both Bitcoin and real estate. So bring it. And with that being shared, now let's dive into this $532,000 Bitcoin price prediction, and then we'll do some live Q&A. And shout out to PlanB. The widely followed quantitative analyst believes that next year's Bitcoin halving will likely send the king crypto to new all-time highs. I mean, it's a given, right? The Quant Analyst tells his 2 million Twitter followers that the stock-to-flow Bitcoin model predicts that the top digital asset will soar more than 1,847% from its current value of 27 G's, baby. The stock-to-flow has traditionally been applied to commodities like gold gold and silver. It predicts the performance of an asset based on the idea that the price increases as the asset becomes more scarce. And according to the analyst, Bitcoin will likely hit his massive target after the Crypto Kings halving, an event that slashes the Bitcoin miners' rewards in half. Quoting him here on crypto Twitter, my January 12th prediction is in line with the stock to flow model. Number one, 32,000 is stock to flow one standard deviation band. Number two, $60,000 is the stock to flow model. And just before the halving, which you can see in this chart in the dark blue, and Bitcoin seems to hit the stock to flow value models. And number three, $100,000 is the bottom of my $100,000 to $1 million range, and around $532,000 stock to flow model value after the 2024 halving. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the Quant Analyst. PlanB also defends his stock to flow model against critics who question its accuracy after it inaccurately forecasted Bitcoin would hit six figures in 2021. Quoting him right here, saying stock to flow model is wrong, invalid, or broken means saying that the Bitcoin price pumps after 2012, 2016, and 2020 halvings are coincidences, random, unrelated to halvings. Possible, but I disagree. In my opinion, 21 million cap supply schedule in the 4-year halving cycle are fundamental to the Bitcoin price. So in my opinion, the halving will probably be at the stock to flow value model of $60,000, which is in the dark blue, and Bitcoin will pump after the halving, just like in 2012, 2016, and the 2020 halvings. And according to PlanB, his model has proven largely accurate in determining the market trends since he created it back in 2019. Quoting him here, for me, the stock to flow model works as expected when I made the model in March of 2019 and makes me money. I guess some got too focused on $100,000, and there was a lot of misunderstanding about stock to flow and about the models in general. So there you have it. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the infamous PlanB, and when do you feel the Bitcoin price is likely to hit that six-figure mark? Let me know in the comments right down below. And now let's dive into some live Q&A. Welcome to each and every one of you in the live chat. And once again, I appreciate all the super chat contribution. You guys are amazing. All your support means the world to me. So thank you so very much. You know what I mean? Welcome, Matthew. Welcome, Steve Kingston. Steve says, I was half joking when I said 25,000, then 30,000 yesterday. I should be more careful of what I say. Crypto News Alerts fam is the best, says Matthew. Greatly appreciate that, family. Sounds like you have a smart plan, Steve. I'm just stacking until 2024 and 2025, aiming for long-term capital gains. Send it. Long-term hodlers, where you at? Love to hear that. Good stuff. This community is about growth and intelligent thought, passing on the knowledge to those that are willing to progress. Greatly appreciate the kind words. Digital dankness means a lot. Steve says Bitcoin equals uninflationary money, investment, freedom, and privacy, and a freaking fun hobby that pays off so well. Couldn't have said it better myself, Steve. Very well said. Much love. Dankness says, whoop, the digital age is here. We can do smart contract loans and blockchain deeds and utilize the blockchain for a small fraction of its potential. Facts. As Bitcoin continues to disrupt major industries around the world. Would be cool if Nayib Bukele talked to the Venezuelan leaders. That's right, because we talked about in Argentina and Venezuela. I mean, hyperinflation has taken place. Their currency is doomed, and that would be fantastic if other Latin American countries actually listen to Nayib Bukele, the president of El Salvador, our fearless leader. You know what I mean? It's already uploaded in self to keep from dismantled and hired people to hit captures on Fiverr. Shaking my head when I heard of the Raspberry Pi I knew hundreds of CPUs could make. I guess referring to mining some Bitcoin, right? With some nodes. Gary Gensler would make use of some AI. Yeah, he sure would. Also keep in mind that ChatGPT is funded and created by Microsoft, which is controlled by Bill Gates. So you're going to have a lot of disinformation in there. And that's why Elon claims he is working on like a truth AI model that would preach the truth. We shall soon see. Last night for me, the land down under. So it's a must join. Word up. What country are you in, Web City? Web City asked a great question a little earlier. He said, how do I buy Bitcoin? And I said, this is a great question. This is a question people should be asking every single day. Buy Bitcoin. It all depends, first and foremost, where you live, as obviously some locations don't have the same resources to purchase Bitcoin. Obvious for those in the United States, the top exchanges right now are like Coinbase, Kraken, Gemini, and what are some others? Maybe Crypto.com, probably the largest of them out there. You also have Binance US is a major exchange available in the United States. Fee-wise, from my research, Binance US is going to offer the lowest fees. In fact, zero trading fees for the top related Bitcoin and Ethereum trading pairs. So if you wanted to trade, let's hypothetically say USDT or USDC for some Bitcoin, it's free. Doesn't cost nothing, and you can't really beat that. So I would highly encourage you to check out Binance US if you're in the US. Obviously, if you're not in the US, Binance is the largest just overall exchange in the world, so I can suggest checking them out. And again, they offer the lowest fees and zero trading fees on the top related pairs, making it a no-brainer. But with that being said, I stress extreme caution. Never store your crypto on the exchanges, because if your crypto is left on the exchanges, guess who owns that crypto? Not you, the exchanges. If something was to go wrong, like governments attacking the exchange or hackers attacking the exchange, because we witnessed the second largest exchange in the world, FTX, go under last year. It was worth over $9 billion, and you had literally hundreds of millions of investors were affected negatively. Unfortunately, this was a pretty big deal. So if this can happen to the second largest crypto exchange in the world that was having private meetings with Gary Gensler and the SEC, it can happen to any of them. So that's why I gotta stress that you need to use a cold storage wallet, do some research, maybe pick up a Trezor, maybe pick up a Ledger, because if it's not your keys, it's not your cheese. So you gotta learn how to store your cryptocurrency properly to avoid losing it first and foremost. Other options for purchasing crypto include the Cash App is a great option. Strike, I know you can purchase. I know Swan, a Bitcoin, you can purchase. So there's probably quite a lot of different options out there. So I'd love to know in the comments below, what is your number one recommendation for purchasing Bitcoin? If you had to give advice to someone and they said, how do I buy Bitcoin? What would you say? Let me know. You know what I mean? If you look at an exchange that is in your geolocation, like Coinbase or Crypto.com, there will be some option to buy from. Just don't keep your stash there. Sage advice dankness, right in alignment with my initial thoughts as well. Is Bitcoin like money? Great question. Bitcoin is absolutely superior to money. It's the most superior form of money. So if you're like a Pokemon fan, it's the most evolved Pokemon that exists is Bitcoin. Why? It's unconfiscatable. It's borderless. You know what I mean? It has everything going for it that gold can't do, but it does everything that gold currently does. So making it digital gold or gold version 2.0 because it's superior in every metric of the way. You know what I mean? 100% for the replays, not missed an episode since probably the low 500 or 400s. Word. Much respect to Lawrence being a true OG here on the channel. I actually launched this channel, I don't know, like 3-4 years ago. This is podcast episode number 1260, and dude has been watching every day since the low 400s. So just much respect. I greatly appreciate that. Matthew reminds everyone to smash the like if you haven't. It's free to do so. That's right. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit the bell icon, turn on all notifications so you don't miss out every day when I go live, as I do go live every single day. Lawrence Abramoff, I greatly appreciate the $5 super chat contribution. Means the world to me. Much love and much respect. Alan Haley, good morning. Don't know how to do it every day and keep the show just as interesting and badass every single time. Means the world to me, family. Much love. According to the government agencies, Bitcoin is digital property, a commodity, and also a store of value. It can be used as money, but I would prefer to spend fiat. That's right. You want to hodl, which means hold on for dear life to your Bitcoin and try to use all the fiat possible. So treat Bitcoin as your savings, because why would you save fiat when it's being hyperinflated and your purchasing power is dwindling? I love the scenario Giga Chad Michael Saylor pointed out. Like all the money in the bank or on the balance sheet of these major corporations, it's like a melting ice cube, meaning you're losing purchasing power day by day. So put your savings in Bitcoin and spend your fiat capital. Get rid of it while you still can and while it's still acceptable, because eventually a time will come where they don't accept US dollars anymore. You know what I mean? Only a matter of time. We're witnessing the collapse of the US dollar in real time now that the BRICS and all these countries are moving away from the dollar, fam. Dustin just sent me a $10 super chat contribution with the comment Lambo. Greatly appreciate that, fam, and I hope you do get your Lambo, and I hope it's yellow just like the color of the super chat. That's what's up. I remember the first episode aired of the remake. I was like, what the heck is this? Why is it in black and white? Obviously I downloaded the wrong one. That is hilarious. Yeah, we are the older generation where we had to get up and change the TV way before the time of the remote control, right? Get Smart, the movie has good perving on Anne Hathaway's session. Interesting. Dustin doubles down. That's what's up. Appreciate that. I remember vinyl, Steve, even though I'm only 36, but no surprise, I don't even know what songs are new anymore. I also had turntables. I had Technique 1200s. I had like all the Wu-Tang albums, all that good stuff, being a hip-hop head growing up. Turntables are awesome. I miss records. What happened to those days? Now everything is digital, right? Remember CDs? Remember cassette decks? You know what I mean? Remember, like in the car, if you wanted to play a CD and you thought you were high tech, you'd plug the cassette like in and you were able to play a CD through a portable CD player. I remember those days. Probably this summer on XRP, just a guess. I don't have any inside info. Wish the Ripple judge would hurry up. Positive ruling for Ripple and XRP would pump the entire market. Facts. But I think that's why it's being delayed. They don't want to pump up the market. They want to suppress the price action and drag this on as long as they could. That's Gary Gensler's objective. And you got to keep that in mind. This lawsuit has been ongoing now for 3 years. If they can drag it out another year, they will. Trust me. And the SEC knows they're not going to win, but they will win because they won by default just by suppressing the price action for this long and creating all this uncertainty in the market. They're getting away with their original plan, in my personal opinion. But I do think in the end, XRP will win, but still have to pay hundreds of millions of dollars in fines to the SEC, which the SEC will then take to use to go after other major cryptocurrencies. What are your thoughts? Let me know. I feel old. Trini was good. Bitcoin Trini, good morning and welcome. Good to see you, family. Jeff Long, hello from California. Cali in the building. How many of you didn't know? I actually grew up a few years in California. Third, fourth, and fifth grade, I did in Cali. Had a great time. We lived in Solvang, my family, maybe about 45 minutes to an hour from Santa Barbara, which is a very popular city where like Oprah Winfrey, Michael Jackson, a lot of big status celebs used to live at that time. New to the channel and love it. Bitcoin for life, says Werner Sunkel. Well, I appreciate you tuning in and participating live, and I'm happy to read your comment out loud and hope you come back tomorrow as we do go live every single day. Welcome to the fam. Yo, what's good? Hope everyone is good. Good to see you, Victor, Reina as well. Always a pleasure. Tough Cookie was popping. Was up late last night. How many of you actually watched Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia last night? Garcia got knocked down, or I should say they stopped the fight with a body shot, which was pretty interesting. Rollbot has 1000x get liquidated in seconds. You serious? There's 1000x leverage? Holy moly. That is the most insane thing I've ever heard of. I didn't know that even existed. But I can tell you just from 100x leverage, the insanity of any trader thinking they were going to win and not get liquidated trading with 100x leverage. Pure insanity. I'd say if you really know what you're doing, never go above 5x leverage because you're just asking to get liquidated. And that's if you know what you're doing. You know what I mean? And it's safe to say 90% of the traders have no freaking clue what they're doing. Hence why over 90% of the traders are continuous losers, right? You got to actually know how this game works. I'm undecided on the FedNow rollout. Will speed up adoption or not? I think if they roll out FedNow, it forces people to make decisions. I think it would force people, do they want to participate in that corrupt FedNow program, or do they want to stack sats and be able to exist on an alternative payment rail, which is not dependent upon central banks and the government who completely control it, right? Who wants to participate in CBDCs once it's out what CBDCs are truly for and how they're used to enslave the people, control them, no privacy, and all that. You know what I mean? I think it's only a matter of time because it's my job to expose it. And a lot of other people out there are going to be exposing CBDCs as I virtually do every single day. Other major influencers out there as well. We got to acknowledge the people and let them know what's good so they can make a decision on their own. What we can do at the end of the day, we can lead the horse to the water, but we cannot force them to drink it. It's up to them to get the knowledge and apply it. You know what I mean? That's just the nature of how it is. I don't look at thumbnails. I know what they are for. Just find someone great to watch every morning. Greatly appreciate that. Mark G, what do you got to say there? Do you ever get bored of the hype bait thumbnail? And that's a valid question. I create these thumbnails because I'm trying to get the maximum amount of views. The worst feeling in the world is when you create a show and no one tunes in and you're investing several hours per day into that show. I know how that feels firsthand because plenty of my shows didn't get many views, especially in the beginning years. You know what I mean? So I know what the algorithm needs to see to get the maximum amount of views. by also keeping it authentic. Because nowhere am I saying Bitcoin is going to hit 500,000 tomorrow. This is a legitimate prediction from PlanB, creator of the Bitcoin stock to flow model, predicting post-halving, which means after 2024, Bitcoin to hit 500,000. This is a legitimate prediction. And because of that, I feel really good sharing it. So you guys let me know your feedback. You know what I mean? FedNow might push people into Bitcoin and away from FedNow and CBDC. Facts. I think the right people will be pushed away. Obviously, everyone here wants nothing to do with that. You know what I mean? I got 46 out of 50 today, speed shooting. Congrats. That's what's up. Steve says, good stuff. I should go out after the show and blast a few rounds before it rains. What kind of gats are y'all firing? Let me know. Watching is optional. What do you do? Do you want him to put? Anyone I use, I target. Word up. Matthew says it's all good. JV got the news in one spot. Crypto News Alerts is the best. Appreciate that, fam. Much love. Lawrence says, Steve, I got kicked out once for double tapping pistols. What? To the torso and one to the head at the range. That's Australia for you. At place dedicated to shooting, there is still nonsense. Sad to hear that. I remember those outside ranges. I missed them back in Florida when I got my concealed carry permit. I went through some of those courses, and they were actually a lot of fun, and I'm glad I did. Got to learn all about gun safety and all that fun stuff. Ditto, our racetracks kicked out cuss exceeding 180 kmhr down back straight. Makes total sense. You can't make this stuff up sometimes. That's not going to happen in this country. I look at Demolition Ranch and I'm like, wow, that guy is cool. Does all this stuff I would do, stupid stuff, done safely. Word. And then quoting Jeremy Clarkson, let's think of things we aren't supposed to do. Funny. Tough Cookie says, oh, yeah. LFC Liverpool, good morning and welcome to you as well. Target shooting while on the motorcycle. Interesting, Steve. I got to give it a try, he says. Get a loan on Bitcoin when you have lots. Loan to value. Word up. L Liverpool looking to buy my council house under UK right now to buy in Satoshis. That's what's up. Flat smack halving 4 of 32. Word up. I don't know how that can be accurate. Hash rate is susceptible to change. Thus is the time. Congrats. I try to understand both sides of all arguments. Helps me feel good around the decision. Steve says lengthening both cycles with less returns. The bear market's also with less of a pullback as the Bitcoin market matures. 93%, 86%, 84%. Next bear will be less of a pullback. Word up. The sentiment is the same for me. BTFD, buy that freaking dip. Says Little Freestyle. Welcome for tuning in. Tommy Jr., welcome and good morning. Hello, what do you think of buying Bitcoin on the CFD platform if you're from the Caribbean? I am not familiar with the CFD platform. As long as it's licensed and legit, go for it. You know what I mean? But maybe do a little test transaction. I've never heard of it. But again, if they're licensed in the Caribbean, you should be golden. Tommy says title definitely a tad misleading. You know what I mean? Like code of ethics wise, it's unethical to mislead a common man into thinking 532,000 is coming, then time is relative and on the horizon. I don't know if you're trolling me, Tommy, but nonetheless, welcome, and I'm glad you're here. I'm glad the thumbnail worked, and I'm glad you're tuned in regardless. You know what I mean? Seems too soon. Well, here, I never said Bitcoin was going to 500,000. Tomorrow, the prediction is post-2024 halving, which means in a year from now, after a year from now, is the prediction. Just FYI to give you all a little clarity. Just joined a hunting club in the middle of nowhere, says Alan Haley. Never been hunting before. Getting ready to get a turkey. Congrats. I hope you get that turkey. Bitcoin 50,000 by Xmas 2024, 100,000 by 2025, parabolic 250,000 plus by 2026, and a cool milli. Let's go. 7-figure Bitcoin price. I cannot freaking wait. How would your life change if Bitcoin was $1 million? Let me know in the comments. Also, a reminder for those new to the channel, I'm going to be throwing a 6-figure Bitcoin price celebration party right here in Puerto Rico. Everyone is invited. Granted, you're not a perma bear such as a Peter Schiff. You know what I mean? Or Janet Yellen or someone of that caliber. You're not welcome. But we're going to be celebrating here. It's going to be a tremendous time. And I know everyone's life is going to be transformed, especially those who have been steady stacking sats over the past year, 2, 3, 4, however many years you've been stacking and got introduced to Bitcoin. Phenomenal times ahead. And I'm super looking forward to it. Tough Cookie says success. Word up. Use your head. You see Keanu Reeves and Halle Berry. Man, they got good. Word up. Hilarious. All right, fam. Now for a recap of what I covered with you here in today's show. And as you can see, the Bitcoin price is pumping. We above 27.6. Let's reclaim 31,000 and head onwards and upwards, shall we? But now for a recap of what I covered with you here in today's show. I broke down the latest technical analysis as Bitcoin price crawls 2.5% off the lows as the weekly chart risk, bearish engulfing. Also shared breaking news that the Singapore court rules that buying and selling Bitcoin without a license is completely legal. And also we discussed Gemini to launch derivatives platform outside the United States, as well as incoming FedCoin will track everyone in new 1984 style system, says rich dad Robert Kiyosaki. We also discussed crypto now dead in America as U.S. authorities target the nascent industry, says billionaire Shamath P. We also discussed breaking news, pretty big, world's first Bitcoin real estate marketplace, basically powered by Coinbase, has officially launched. And we also discussed the $532,000 Bitcoin price action prediction on the horizon, predicts Quant Analyst, PlanB, and I shared his timeline, which is post 2024 halving. But where do you feel the Bitcoin price is likely to go next? Let me know in the comments below, and I look forward